Hey everybody, Coach BK. Journaling. Journaling is probably one of the best habits to get into. It can be a form of keeping yourself organized, of processing through to-do lists, processing through thoughts, trying to find out, if things are true or untrue, like, if you're having disagreements with somebody. Journaling is a way of getting in touch with what is really true for you. And it's a way of kind of bringing in some of this really nice, resilient and strong mental skills to help you do things, set goals, work through personal growth, work through trauma. It's interesting. I've journaled for a long time. I love journaling. I love drawing. I love pen and paper. And there's some medical science reasons why you want to do that, physiological things. And how, like the kids in their schooling and everything going online is a disadvantage for sure. But I was sitting in an office today and I was reading a magazine, and it was funny because some chick was chatting with her guy about how the only reason why people are printing magazines is so the old people can read them. And I was like, oh, I don't think that I qualify for an old person yet. But we're losing our pen and paper, our paper kind of reference to grounding. Reading a book in turning pages is very grounding. All of this online stuff, reading books on our iPads and whatnot. I think that we are really changing how our brain is experiencing this reading for enjoyment and whatever. And I think we're really kind of moving away from some good benefits of how we are designed. So anyway, this magazine that I was reading was about Taylor Perry. I don't know. I don't remember exactly who he was. I know that he sings this really awesome song right now, and it is a very famous guy. And he was talking about working through childhood trauma, sexual abuse, physical abuse, depression, suicidal thoughts and attempts, and his power and how he healed was through journaling. And we've been talking a lot about it in our own group and in our mind body transformation program. We talk a lot about journaling, and the question comes up, what are some of the things that you can journal? And it sounds kind of like a duh question, but it's actually very very good question, because a lot of the times we kind of don't know where to start. We don't know what to do. Some of us are not journalers or whatnot, and some of us, start the habit and don't finish. And I mean, admittedly, I'll show you here in a little bit. I have a lot of journals that are maybe 1/4 to 3/4 finished, and I really have been working to finish my journals and celebrate when they are done, like used up all the pages or finish the intention of that journal. So I'm going to show you kind of some things that I do with my journaling. Years ago, I quit my engineering career to homeschool my children. And so when I did that, one of them was very dyslexic and had a lot of learning disabilities. And I worked to find creative ways to help him, me to teach him how to read and stuff like that. It was a big challenge. And through all of that, I learned a lot about the brain, and I mapped that into my yoga teacher training, and I learned a lot of stuff on yoga teacher training about the left and the right side of the brain, how what we do with our hands and what we do with the left hand and the right hand, and how that interacts with our left and the right side of the brain, and that maps up with our memory and maps up with different types of processing that we do. And so when our world trends towards mostly online, trends towards mostly right-handed, trends towards mostly left brain type of activities, We lose our well-roundedness as far as approaching things. We tend to only approach life and whatnot from one side of our brain, and so you know, it's harder to come at it from a whole round sphere of it, if that makes any sense. So there are there's a lot of physiological benefits to paper and pen. It engages your brain differently, travels through the brain, you get to different spots. You know, drawing and doodling and whatnot can help to trigger more creative processes in the brain. It gets your emotions involved. There's a lot more life experience to be had journaling, pen and paper, colors, stickers, and whatnot. It just makes it a richer experience. So then it's more full, and I'll talk more about some other things in the journaling here in just a second. So these are a lot of my journals. I don't throw journals away. I have a lot of journals. I keep them. I have some more journals here, and they all kind of do different things. But let's talk about these journals. And this is probably the first one that I have ever completed. This is a Plum Papers journal, and it was a journal that I completed training for Ironman Texas in 2018. So this is a training journal. This is a really nice starter journal. It's fairly cheap, and you can put stuff in here about how things went. You can learn a lot of self-accountability in journaling, because you can see when you don't complete things. Good journals are going to lead you through a process. This one is really good in that it, you know, it has things to initiate thought. And so the question that we are addressing today, you can see I didn't really dig this journal and I didn't do much in it. Triggering thoughts and what to write into a journal is definitely a thing, because writer's block, and you know, we pick up the pen and maybe we're not super duper creative. That can be daunting. So journals like this are really nice. They initiate the thought. The Franklin Covey planner system does that same thing as well. A different type of journal. I found this one when I was shopping and perusing, and you can see I didn't need another journal, but with something going on in my life right now, things that I am trying to do, the texture of this is really soft. It's almost like leather, and with brave wings she flies. And so that really speaks to me, and I have tattoos of butterflies that represents my kids. So, and then I am a scrapbooker and creative, so these are some things that I put in here to add juju into this, and this is from the Yoga World. And so this journal here is my personal journal that I'm using right now to do some very specific personal growth activities, something very specific. And so this journal I am using, and I like pictures and I draw pictures. So what I've been doing to add some creative flair is I am using this book. And see, this book is really short. And it's quick reads. You could use the Bible for this as well. Like, you know, work your way through Psalms and get a journal that maps up with that. And you could either write the verse down, just the numbers of it, or write the whole verse down and then put it in there. And then so you can see that this was a picture that I tore out of here. I taped it in there. I drew on it. And then I wrote some words in there of what that meant to me on that day. And so you can see that I have been doing that. And this is my own personal thoughts, things that have been triggered by this. There's lots of different ways to get daily inspiration, either through a calendar, you know, that gives you motivational things and whatnot. So another way to journal is not on a dead iPad. So there is an app that I wanted to show you called Journal One, but my iPad is dead, so we're not doing that. This is another journal that I have. I like this one a lot because it's hardback and I could take it anywhere. So sometimes I would sit outside and I would draw pictures and I would just journal thoughts. And these were stickies that I had written to myself. And so just random thoughts. But I was working through, this is more yoga related. And then sometimes I would pick out memes and stuff and I would print them, or this is a picture, and I would eventually just stick this here. This is one that I got sidetracked on. Life sidetracked me, and I didn't finish it, but I need to get back to it, and so it just sits around. So that's another thing that you can journal on. This one here is more of my day-to-day planner / journal thingy. And I think it counts for journaling. It's a Plum Papers one that you design, and I put my picture on the front. And this is for doing Ironman Texas next year. So I put in my training stuff, and of course I use Training Peaks too, but here's some weight loss stuff, accountability in here, and a lot of business stuff. My journal, I added a gratitude practice in there, and then I map out when important days. So this day was for Derek, anniversary of his grandpa dying, and so we go and we take care of grandma and hang out with her. And then so business stuff, and yeah, I need to do an Ironman test, stuff like that. And so, you know, the focus of the week, do that, and then it has a habit tracker, so trying to develop better habits. And this is kind of like my daily method of operation, my DMO. This one sits here on my desk all day long. It doesn't move. I see it all the time. I touch it all the time, and that's kind of power. If you lose your journal, it doesn't work for you. If it's not open and you seeing it all the time, it's not going to work for you. And so of my desk, of where I work, this sits here. Nothing sits on top of it. My highlighters are right there. My favorite pen is right there. There's a light bulb. I have an idea. And then sometimes I even add, this is my bookmark, because sometimes I jump through like the monthly view. And oh my gosh, this day. And I'm talking to myself. Working on feeling worthy, 150% worthy, being strong, and being resilient in my mind. So anyway, that's kind of another way of journaling. So the whole journal thing is, it's just really very individual, very creative. And I wanted to show you one other thing, and let me get to it on my Mac. And it's called Journal One. It is an app that you can get. Day One. There we go. They changed the name of it. Oh, and look, I was able to log in the first time. So on this app is pretty cool because if you buy the premium, it'll sync everywhere. So I do a lot of my iPad journaling, and it syncs to everywhere, so I can type here. This is me, and I'm wanting to write a book about my rescue dog, so a day in the life of a rescued boxer. And I was getting into the habit of journaling daily and adding in pictures daily of the dog. So this is our pit bull that we lost. This was a picture that I took of him, and this is me kind of journaling. I had to say goodbye to my brother today. This book, these journals are written in the voice of my other dog, my rescue dog, Julie. And so she's talking about losing her brother that day. And some other journals where I take pictures. I love pictures. There's that sweet boy. And we're talking about using inspiration of pictures daily to journal is a really nice idea as well. So this is talking about PTSD and her being abused, and it took a long time for her to be okay with being around him. They used to fight a little bit too much and stuff like that. So that's day one or journal one, and you can get those on your iPad, iPhone, iMac, and for a premium version for a year, it will sync everywhere. And this is another lovely way to journal. It's, you know, not the pencil and paper idea, but you could use your iPad with the pencil. The cool thing about this is, and why I'm using this, is that all of this can be easily exported to PDF or to an ebook, and that was what I was wanting to do with the dog story. So there's a lot of different things that you can journal. You know, it just really kind of depends on what you are wanting to accomplish. You know, there's lots of books, like these books here I really like, and these books would be excellent for day-to-day inspiration to journal daily. Like this one is really fun. It's quick read, How to Be Interesting. Brene Brown and Jeff Brown, not related, both very good. Mental health, spiritual health, people that would inspire you to maybe write in a personal journal. And it doesn't have to be long. It just, you know, needs to be consistent. I left one out. This was a Plum Papers journal as well, and this one too is Plum Papers. It's a little bit of an investment, but this is a 18-month calendar and like 50 some bucks, and it's totally worth it. I get a lot of benefits from this. This is a gratitude book. I'm going to do this one after I'm done with this activity here. But this gratitude book, I put the picture of myself on there, and it is just very simple daily pages of practicing gratitude, and it leads you through what to write. And so that's kind of a fun idea there as well. So there's another fun way to develop a daily journaling habit. I guess I should show you another one. This is one that I have as well, and it's more of a daily to-do thing that goes along with this one, and it's where I keep notes of business stuff. But you could take this, these pages are pretty cool. You could take this and turn this into whatever kind of journal you want to. So just a ton of different options. There is no right way or wrong way to do journaling. Just the important part is to be consistent with it, and don't be afraid to put real thoughts in there.